Before people start commenting because of the subject matter of the video about my background, look at this PlayStation 5 controller I just got. It's the blue chrome, I think it's called. It looks shiny. It's a little more purple than I wanted it to be, so it's a little too close to the matte purple I have, but still looks cool. I'm gonna be doing some PlayStation stuff later. Nintendo isn't different. You just remember a simpler time where all you knew was, I got this game, I like this game, and I play the game. But truth to be told, Nintendo is no different now than they were. For every patent we get, Microsoft deletes 5 more companies. Another 1,000 layoffs happen. And Sony makes a Mobius movie. But then they also make Spider-Verse and K-pop Demon Hunter, so you know they're kind of really winning the movies at this moment. But yes, I agree that game mechanics should not be patented. Now, protecting IPs, I get. Game mechanics, not cool. But Nintendo's not the only one who's done that. We all remember the Nemesis system patent. Yes, it was a unique system, but now nobody could use it because it is a patented system. Or how about when Bandai Namco patented the idea of playing a minigame during loading screens? Now you can't play minigames during loading screens. That doesn't matter anymore now because loading screens are take 3 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, if the game's really unoptimized. But game mechanics have always been patented. I don't agree that they should be, but they are. It happens. I think you should just make a game and be the best at it. Be the best at making the game. And if you introduce a new mechanic, be the originator of the mechanic and then push it forward in future installments. And if somebody does it better than you, then you either need to catch up or hire them, or think of something new that people will then start copying you, which Nintendo does a lot. Nintendo is an innovator. They have a dev team who gives a shit. It's corporate who kind of sucks, but they've always kind of sucked because they are a very traditional Japanese company. People who run Nintendo run it as a business because businesses need to make money. Every business is anti-consumer in some degree. If you were 100% pro-consumer, then everybody would be getting sold things at price, and these companies wouldn't be making any money outside of donations or whatever. But that's not how the world works. There are more ethical companies than others, and there are companies that are full of good people, but they still have a overhead. They still have margins that they want to make bigger. They want to make money because that's how businesses roll. So being a traditional Japanese company, they protect their product. They protect their IPs. And if they weren't like that, we probably would have we wouldn't have the video game resurgence of 1986 that we did. The people who make the product have full control of the product. They can make a better product. If outside sources start changing the product, if it could become a lesser product. That's why a dev team that has full control of the product without the overheads and whatever being like, hey, but you should actually add this to the game, or you should make it a live service game instead, and ruin everything you've accomplished to this point. It's not a good thing. Now, do I agree with all Nintendo's decisions? Like I've said before, like the other popular video that got very downvoted because I was defending Nintendo when everybody's on the hate bowling for Nintendo. No, I don't agree with all their decisions. Virtual Boy is fucking stupid. It's really fucking stupid. Why did they bring them back to Virtual Boy? Why, whoever thought that was a good idea should get fired. That is one of the dumbest ideas that they've ever thought of. And then $99 for the fucking Virtual Boy. There's only so much I could defend Nintendo. I'm defending your prices for games that is regularly priced because Xbox and PlayStation has already been doing it for 5 years. So why is Nintendo getting heat for that? But then you fucking come out with a fucking Virtual Boy again. The flop of the system that should be forgotten to time. Like something should not be preserved. Something should stay as a wiki. The Virtual Boy is one of those things. Why was that decision? People are like, I want give us more like these games for the Game Boy Advance emulator, or give me a DS emulator. Figure it out. No, Virtual Boy. That's what we get. So, I just want to make a point that Nintendo's not perfect, as I say even more things about them to defend them. But they have always been like this. You don't think they've been like this all the time because you grew up without knowing the gaming politics. You grew up, and so did I, blissfully ignorant of the behind-the-scenes business corporate bullshit, and we're just playing our Marios and our Zeldas and our Kirbys and our Metroids and all the other things and the Star Foxes. We're playing these games and we just have fun. We have great memories because we are ignorant to the rest of the world, and we're just having fun with these things. And even people who even corporate people who us normies praise weren't great either. Iwata is probably the best president that Nintendo had when it came to a good face and a kind soul. But the Wii U's marketing was trash, and he was president when Nintendo was the hardest on YouTube content. You had to pay Nintendo to do YouTube content, and it wasn't like the fair share that we have now with a bunch of companies now that you have to escrow and then you get a cut if your shit's copyrighted. My other channel is a music channel. And we do reactions a lot. And if we do it from a big band, then I get into fair use arguments with YouTube, and then they don't review it for 30 days, so it works. But it's that's fucking 30 days, dude. But that was an Iwata thing. So while yes, he was a great person, he had great values. He still did business practices that protected the IP and weren't great for the consumer. Even the people who we praise were anti-consumer in some fashion. How about N64 game prices, or even worse, Super Nintendo game prices, because they were on cartridges, and cartridges used to be insanely expensive. When you could open up a magazine and have this game be $70 or up to $90 in 1993 money. 1991 money is, because this is copyrighted, 1991. That's a good chunk of change. Even if it was down to $60, that was 30 years ago. 34 to be exact. And we're bitching about $70 games now? When that was $70, $60 to $80 to $90 sometimes. Shit was expensive. Nintendo has a history of business. They are very strict businessmen at the higher ups who protect their product. Now, they do it in annoying ways sometimes. Again, I get why people are mad about Pokemon patent, which, by the way, is a little more detailed than just summonings. It's very specific. It's basically you can't make a Pokemon game, is basically what it's saying. It's still dumb. You should be able to make a Pokemon game. And then if somebody makes a really good Pokemon game and you like it, and they're like, well, instead of destroying them, just making a summoning thing, it's hey, Pocket Mortys, that was cool. You want to work on our team and see if you're actually good at the shit? I'm fucking hell yeah, dude. But also, there's a lot of things that Nintendo's doing that they're catching flack for when the whole of the industry has already been doing or is forced to do, increasing hardware costs. That's the thing that's happening universally, but Nintendo's getting shit for it because everybody has a hate boner for Nintendo right now. I can praise companies for doing good things, and I could also shit on them for doing bad things. Like the fucking Virtual Boy, motherfucker. The Virtual Boy. Fuck. Telling people to not buy a Switch 2 or having buyer's regret for a system that already has some good games, great games on it, and will have more games in the future If you're a Nintendo fan and you like the Nintendo games, get a Switch. I don't care if you don't like certain practices. Either there is no ethical buying in capitalism. That phrase has been said around a lot, but it's true. No company that you buy from will be fully ethical. Now, vote with your wallet. Like, go for it. Like, I'm not actually telling you to buy things. I'm not telling you what to buy. But shit on a company for just being a business, I feel like is overreacting. And I'm not saying you can't criticize companies, but people are actually saying that Nintendo's evil. And we talked about this before. They are not evil just because they're doing business things, the same business things that other businesses are doing. It's just capitalism. That's what it is. And that's a whole other talk on a whole different channel that I don't own, because I don't own a political talking channel. All if it's video game politics, which I guess capitalism kind of falls under, but we're not getting into it right now. Nintendo's a business. They run it like a business. They have a great dev team that gives a shit about their games, but they have a corporate that is corporate. That's just what it is. It's nothing more. And also, they've always been like this. Even before they got into the video game market, they made playing cards for people to gamble with and try to find ways to circumvent gambling laws. Like, they fucking did that. I'm just annoyed at the shade that Nintendo's getting when other companies are doing the same shit but not getting as much shade. It's just a scapegoat. It's just something to point fingers at, when instead of going for one company who still relatively gives a shit, we should go for the industry as a whole and really just the system that we brought ourselves into as a whole. And I get it, this may seem like a leave Britney alone situation, but it's really not, because I'm criticizing Nintendo too, and the Switch too, mainly the Virtual Boy. What the fuck? Like, I know people are gonna construe it in well, you're just a fanboy, and everything you say is stupid or wrong because I don't like it when people defend the thing I don't like. So that means everything you say is wrong and stupid and wrong, and I hate you. I think I'm just being a counterweight to the overreactions. I wouldn't even call it devil's advocate, but that's essentially what I'm doing. They're not doing great shit, but they also do some cool shit. How about we yell at Microsoft for upping their prices but not actually offering anything? Like, Game Pass is like great and all, like, but like, instead of making new games, they close down studios. And then the studios they have, they yell at and they like force shitty product out. Like, we should have seen this a million miles away when they bought Rare, and all Rare did was mostly make Kinect Sports. And then they made Nuts and Bolts, which like is hated by most of the Banjo-Kazooie, but found a cult following. And then they made Sea of Thieves, that is an okay game. Because Xbox ruins studios, and then PlayStation is just kind of there. Honestly, I'm trying to think of controversies. The only controversy is that the fucking hardware price spikes, but that's all. Again, that's happening everywhere. I guess Last of Us 2 is a very divisive product, but that's more of a Naughty Dog thing. I'm sure somebody has some dirt on them, but that's like my point. There's dirt on every company, but why is Nintendo like the evil one? They made Donkey Kong Bonanza. You can't be evil when you make a game like that. Fuck, you know what is evil? Laying off 4,000 people at a time. I know this video is very much rambly. I just had to get the feelings out there. I just had to get the thoughts out there. Like, Nintendo is the same company as they were 40, 50, 100 years ago. Just new technology. And I'm not saying I agree with certain things that they do, because I don't. Again, patenting game mechanics is dumb. Let me have my loading screen mini games, and my Nemesis systems, and my Pokemon. But it doesn't make them like the worst ever. It doesn't make them Apple. At least when Nintendo releases a product that's different and new, and they actually innovate. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I'm just crashing out at this point because everything's stressful. So I just had if you like this video, give it a thumbs up if you want to see more from me. Subscribe, or for us, I guess. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe. If you want to see even more, check out the links down below. And until next time, bye.